Next question is about novel coronavirus, that is SARS-CoV-2. So first statement is SARS-CoV-2 has both DNA and RNA. That is wrong. So generally, what you have to know is generally the virus contains either DNA or RNA, not both. Okay, and within the DNA there could be single stranded, that is single copy of DNA, that is single fragment of DNA, or it is a double stranded DNA. Even in the RNA also it can be single stranded RNA, double stranded RNA. Generally single stranded RNA, this is most common form present in most of the viruses. There are double DNA, I mean uh, DNA viruses also, that is double stranded where DNA viruses are more common. So these are like example is hepatitis B DNA, hepatitis B DNA. So so that is why first statement is wrong. Next statement is a room infected with SARS-CoV-2 can be disinfected by illuminating it with UVC radiation. So what is this UVC radiation? You have to know that ultraviolet radiation actually based on the frequency there are three types: A, B, C, and C is like more energy. You have to remember, like C is for cancer. That is generally only A. Okay, A will penetrate to the Earth's surface. This ozone layer will prevent the penetration of B and C. C form of ultraviolet radiations. So this B and C, this C is more harmful, more energetic. That is more frequency. Sorry, yes, it's more frequency, less wavelength, and high energy. So uh, it can cause even cancers also. So this type of radiation is very harmful to coronavirus. So it can kill that. Hence, as per this, we can say that this is the same explanation given below. So as per this, second statement is correct, first statement is wrong. Hence, answer is option B. So if you see the 39th question, it is about ultraviolet radiation. I think we have seen this regard discussion about ultraviolet radiation. UV radiation comprises of mainly three categories: UVA, UV, and UVC. So if you go from A to C, the frequency will increase, the energy will increase, but the wavelength will decrease. Okay, so C is more energetic and it will kill all the germs, and also it is actually carcinogenic. That is, it is cancer causing. Okay, to this extent we have seen. Here we will see further. Actually, there is a term called far UVC radiation. So what is this far UVC? Far UVC light, actually it is the range between 207 to 222. Recent studies reveal that this far UVC light efficiently kills pathogens potentially without harm to exposed human tissues. Whereas normal UVC, it is actually typically the range is about 254 nanometers. That is more free. Okay, it is more. I mean, but the problem is it's effective in this context. If it used directly can be health hazard to skin and eyes. So that's why this far UVC light is actually more healthier. I mean, it won't cause damage to the humans, but it can kill all pathogens. So that is why I mean various countries have, I mean various experiments have revealed that far UVC radiation is more not more harmful, it is less harmful to humans. Okay, next, UVC is harmful to humans than UV ray. This is true. First statement is true, as I said. It is C is more energetic form, so it can cause more harm, whereas far UV radiation is less harmful to humans. Here only first statement is correct, second statement is wrong. Answer is option. So next question is, in the context of global COVID-19 pandemic, consider the following statements regarding the term ACE2 protein. Okay. First statement: it is an enzyme attached to the lung cell membrane. Okay. This ACE is what? Acetylcholinesterase. Acetylcholinesterase. So this is actually an enzyme. If you see this, this is an AC2. Actually, sorry, AC2 is a protein. ACE is an enzyme. So actually, this ACE2 receptor is a protein. This receptor protein. Normally, with this ACE2 receptor, angiotensin will be attaching. Okay, this angiotensin will be attaching, which will cause rise in BP or some myocardial problems. Okay, some vascular injury or lung injury might happen. These AC inhibitors actually have some what do you call, prevent this inflammatory response, so that BP will be controlled and atherosclerosis also be controlled to some extent. Okay, so recently this after the COVID-19 pandemic, scientists are studying about the pathogenesis or how the coronavirus is causing damage to the body. So they found that this coronavirus will be binding to ACE2 protein. Okay, so just like ACE, this angiotensin bites, the virus is binding to the ACE2 protein, which allows the entry of the virus into the but particular cell. So this viral entry, replication, okay, and the ACE2 down regulation. So if you see this thing, if as soon as the virus particle attached to the ACE protein, it facilitated the entry of the virus into the cell. Then the cell replicates inside the virus replicates inside the cell, resulting in multiplication of the viruses. So if you let us see the first statement. It is an enzyme attached to the lung cell membranes. Yes, it is a kind of enzyme only. It is attached to the lung cell membranes. Next is the coronavirus hijacks the lungs. The coronavirus hijacks the lungs if its protein can give an entry by unblocking the ACE2 protein on the lung cells. So correct. The coronavirus hijacks the lungs if its protein can gain entry by unlocking. as I told, so this virus attachment enabled unlock the gateway to enter into the cells. So it could be lung cells, even it could be heart cells, some even kidney area. So these ACE proteins are present in anywhere in the body, and more number of these ACEs are present in the lung surface. Here both statements are correct, hence answer is option C. Let us look into the second question. So it is based on coronavirus, and it is a health related question. So it is based on science and technology. So this question is very important with relation to the current affairs for prelims examination. So what the term, so it has given term and the meaning of the term. So outbreak is what it is, like sudden rise in the cases of a disease in a particular place. Suppose say India, so suppose there is sudden rise in case of dengue, or in the case of what do you call this, Nipah virus. So suddenly if there is increase in spot in case, then it is known as outbreak. What is pandemic? So we have seen that pandemic is actually spread of disease on a more global scale. Okay, more global scale, not a particular region. So that is why, I mean, this COVID, because of its global scale of this disease spread, it is declared as pandemic by WHO. Okay, just like SARS, something like that. Okay. So epidemic, what is epidemic? Epidemic is spread of disease in a region. If it is confined to a particular region, then it is epidemic. Okay. So the same thing is explained here. So outbreak is sudden rise in a particular place. Epidemic is that spreads among a population or a region. So it is also kind of outbreak, but the spread is like a large region, spreads among a population or a region. For example, the outbreak of flu-like illnesses caused by new virus is considered as epidemic. Once if the epidemic spreads in a pan-global, that is pan-globally, then it is known as a pandemic. So generally the WHO is looking for sustained outbreaks on different continents. Okay, WHO will declare a pandemic actually. So as per the given question, only first pair is correct, 2 and 3 pairs are wrong. Answer is option A. Now let us look into the 61 question. It is about the reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction, that is real-time RT-PCR. So this question is framed in the aftermath of COVID-19. So the confirmative test for COVID-19 as of now is RT-PCR 19. So real-time polymerase, reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction. So this is what is this? Let us see. So polymerase chain reaction is mainly a technique which is used for detecting the DNA, viral genetic material. It could be DNA or RNA. So in the case of COVID, it is the RNA. Okay, it is a nuclear derived method of detecting the presence of specific genetic material in any pathogen. That is correct. So this technique will actually identifies a fragment of specific DNA specific DNA or RNA in a given sample. Okay, so it will match with, so already the information about particular virus will be there, the DNA genetic material, and the sample will be taken, so they will be overlapped and see whether they both match or not. So if they match, then it is confirmed that it is belong to particular disease. It is the diagnosis of Zika virus. Yes, obviously, even not only Zika virus, Ebola virus also, and now COVID-19. So for confirmation, this RT-PCR is being used. So both statements are correct. Hence, answer is option C. Next question is about immunoglobulins. So immunoglobulin G antibodies start IgG antibodies start appearing in a person's body soon after he get infected SARS-CoV-2 virus. Soon, this is wrong. Okay, not immediately. They will be developed as an immune response to the SARS-CoV-2 virus. And sometimes it may not be formed also. If the virus is very aggressive, by the time the antibodies are produced, it can kill the human being. Next is to detect IgG antibodies. ICMR is indigenously developed IgG ELISA kit. This is correct. So this ELISA kit government has ICMR has developed. This will help in to know whether the person has already been infected, whether the person has already been infected and recovered from COVID test or not. Okay, sorry, COVID virus or not. So here only first statement is wrong. Second statement is correct. So only option B is the right answer. Let us look into the 80th question. It is about ELISA test. So ELISA test can be prescribed. What is this ELISA? ELISA is enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. Why it is done? It is done to detect some antibodies. Okay, it detects and measures antibody levels in our blood. This test can be used to determine if you have antibodies related to certain infectious conditions. So yes, it is can be done to detect various viruses, the antibodies. Okay, so in the human body, here it can be done for anything. Hence, the answer is option D. If you look at the 24th question, it is asking about the difference between vaccination and inoculation. So inoculation is a old form. So the though the objective, the purpose is same. That is what generally it is about. So whenever a virus or a bacterium or any other pathogen enters into body, what will happen is it will trigger immune response, because of which the body will develop some antibodies, as well as it will develop some cell mediated immunity. So because of this, it will combat that particular virus, it will kill that virus. So whenever again the same virus enters into the body, because of this memory, the virus or bacteria will be easily killed by this immunity response. So this is this is the basic concept lying under this immunization. So if you instead of giving the normal virus, if you give this killed virus or any weakened live virus or any subproduct of the virus or bacterium, okay, then it is known as vaccination. So this got that antigenic properties. So if you give this virus into the human body, the same immune response will be there, and so body will develop antibodies for that infection. That is known as vaccination. But earlier, Edward Jenner, whenever for this in the at the time of smallpox, okay, what this scientist did is, so there were no, earlier there was no concept about this weakened virus, killed virus. So actually, this he directly inoculated this smallpox virus into the normal individual. This inoculation is no weaken. There won't be any weakening or any killing of virus. So live virus is directly injected into the body. So as a result of which, the person will develop the all the symptoms. Here in the vaccination, there won't be any symptoms. Generally, there won't be any symptoms. So here and due to inoculation, the chance of death of the patient is also there. Okay, so the patient will suffer. Okay, so only if the patient recovers, then he will get that immunity. Okay, so that is the difference between inoculation and vaccination. Inoculation is the old practice, vaccination is the latest practice. So vaccination is less risky, more safe, more effective. Okay, that is the difference. Vaccination predated inoculation. So actually inoculation predated vaccination. Okay, inoculation is less risky. No, inoculation is more risky when compared to vaccination. Here both statements are wrong, hence the answer is option D. Next question is about dexamethasone. Dexamethasone is in news because of the COVID-19 crisis. So experiments in countries like UK has revealed that dexamethasone in critically ill patients will improve the, especially on the ventilator patients and others, will improve the outcomes, life outcomes. So dexamethasone, we have to know about dexamethasone. It is a steroid. So it is a steroid. It is given in life-threatening conditions. It will help in reducing the inflammatory response. It will modulate the inflammatory response. It will prevent the leakage of fluid into the lungs. So in this way, it will helpful for managing this COVID-19 related pathological damage. So it is an Indian government approved steroid for reducing mortality in patients with severe COVID-19. That is correct. It is a part of national list of essential medicine. Though actually dexamethasone steroid, it has got various applications. So it is given in terms of, sometimes in case of pregnancy it will be given. It will given as ointment in some skin related infections. Okay, so various other conditions this dexamethasone has advised. So it is there in the national list of essential medicines. So both statements are correct. Hence answer is option C. If you see the question number 30, it is about convalescent plasma treatment. Okay. So let us see the first statement. Blood plasma contains red cells and white blood cells. Actually, you should know that suppose this is a test tube. So if you pour some blood into this and if you allow it to settle, then after a few minutes what will happen is, so this RBC will settle down, RBC, WBC will settle down, and this a fluid will be there, straw colored fluid will be there. This is actually serum. Okay, so if you add some anti-clotting agents, then if you allow the same things to settle down, then you will also see this, the red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets will deposit in the bottom, and but here in the top of it, it will be like a yellow color fluid. This is serum. So both are to some extent similar, but serum, this is actually plasma, sorry, this is plasma. Okay, plasma. So this top liquid actually they also contains clotting factors in the case of plasma. In the case of serum, because of the the clotting factors are used up for clotting the blood. So in the serum, no clotting factors will be present, no clotting factors. Whereas in the plasma, clotting factors will be present. So that is the major difference. Blood plasma contains red blood cells and white blood cells. No, plasma don't contain this thing. Blood serum and blood plasma are same. Both are not exactly same. Blood plasma is generally generated from blood followed by centrifugation technique. This is correct. So plasma is obtained by centrifugation technique. Here only third statement is correct. Hence answer is option B. Hope I am clear. Next statement is, see if you see 81st question, it is about hydroxychloroquine. So it is a medicine used to prevent and treat malaria. Actually hydroxychloroquine is a medicine used primarily discovered to treat malaria. Next is, it is used in the treatment of COVID-19 disease in India. Yeah, this is also correct. Okay, so the intention of this question is taken from the current affairs of around April 2020. So earlier hydroxychloroquine was considered as a good medicine for treating this what you call COVID related thing. Let me tell why exactly this HCQ is being used. So the major killer for this COVID-19, I mean the major cause for the deaths due to COVID infection was the cytokine storm. What is this cytokine storm? Cytokines are a kind of inflammatory mediators. Because of entry of virus into the human body, our body will start responding to that virus infection by secreting some inflammatory mediators. So it is a part of immune response. So because of this aggressive immune response, there will be release of inflammatory mediators. These inflammatory mediators will cause the leakage of fluid from the blood vessels into the various other organs. It includes lungs. So if the blood fluids leaks into the lungs, what happens is the lungs gets blocked with the fluids, which will affect the ventilation. So in that way, the death is happening. Even if the leaks into various other organs like what you call, it could be brain, it could be like intestines and all those things. It will cause shock also, hypovolemic shock. So all these are the pathophysiology are the causes for the death in COVID patients. So hydroxychloroquine is a HCQ is a immune modulator. It will modulate, it will decrease, it will moderate the immunity levels, immunity response, so that the cytokine storms won't be there, and that what you call the leakage of body fluids or the leakage of blood or the plasma into the lungs won't happen. So that is the purpose of this hydroxychloroquine. So that's why India started using HCQs on COVID patients, and even the USA. So you might be aware of them. USA asked India for HCQs, and India accepted that. Okay, even in spite of the demand for HCQs, that is, even we have the requirement. We actually, with our what you call big heart, we offered our help to USA by supplying HCQs. Okay, but then so as per this, you have to take this only, and we have to answer C, option C. But the recent development is recently WHO told that the hydroxychloroquine don't have much effect as per the studies. As per the present studies, HCQs won't have that much effects, positive effects on COVID patients. That's why it has not recommended HCQs as a treatment for COVID-19 patients. Okay, but still in many other countries it is being used. For combating this COVID-19. So that is the latest development. But you have to see as per the current affairs, and you have to mark this as option C. Now let us move to the 33rd question. This is also related to COVID-19. So N95 mask. So N95, N is about non-oil components. So that I mean, it is a mask, you write. So this mask will actually protect from the non-oil components, not the oil components. So that is about this non-oil component, that is N component. N component deals with, this is a respirator rating letter class. It stands for non-oil, meaning that if no oil-based particulars are present, then you can use this mask in the work environment. So it is about non-oil. Whereas 95 represents it is 95% efficient. That is, it will purify the air up to 95%. It will purify the air up to 95%. Whereas 100 marks purify up to 99.97%. So it removes 99.9. It is wrong. It is only removes up to 95%. It can be used in an environment where oil particles are present there. This is also wrong. Where oil particles are not present. So here none of the statements are correct. Hence answer is option D. Next question. Which are the following components are used in the manufacture of hand sanitizers? So this is a science and technology based question which is related to the recent COVID-19 pandemic. So as per the WHO recommended sanitizers, there are actually two formulations. One is mainly comprising of ethanol, and another is isopropyl alcohol. So in the first formulation, mainly it comprises of ethanol, glycerol, and hydrogen peroxide. Okay, mainly out of the 1000 ml, 833 is ethanol, 41.7 is hydrogen peroxide, 14.5 is glycerol. In the case of formulation 2, it contains isopropyl alcohol 751.5 ml, hydrogen peroxide 41.7, glycerol 14.5. So you see this thing, entire thing, the components are ethanol, isopropyl alcohol, glycerol, and hydrogen peroxide. So all of them are the components of hand sanitizer. Hence answer is option D. Let us look into the 62nd question. It is also about COVID-19. So with reference to contract tracing in times of COVID-19, consider the following statements. So Arogya Setu app, which helps in self-evaluating one's risk of exposure to COVID-19, works on the novel concept of syndromic mapping. Okay, this is correct. Okay, anyone can view the source code of Arogya Setu app without any authentication. So this is also correct. That is, I mean, if you see the Arogya Setu app, so what will it contain? So first you have to give information, self-declaration of information you have to give, and also you have to access to location and all those you have to give. Okay, then you will be provided access like how much risk you are exposed, okay, how much risk you are exposed, and also various information regarding the health education and all those things, precautions that you be taken, all will be provided in this map. So it helps in self-evaluating risk of exposure to COVID-19. Okay, and this is a syndromic mapping only, that is it will take into lab information, the GPS of other people information, all this will be clubbed together and that it will be mapped. Anyone can view the source code of Arogya Setu app without any authentication. So source code is can be accessed, so everyone can install this Arogya Setu app and everybody can access this app. So here both statements are correct and the answer is option C. Now let us look into the 22nd question. It is also about COVID-19. So the government may have taken various measures to tackle COVID-19. In this aspect, it has given three things and asked about which of them are part of COVID-19, I mean, management or what you call measures, initiatives taken by the government. So one is Arogya Setu. So I think everyone is aware of this Arogya Setu. Arogya Setu is a mobile-based app launched by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It is mainly about knowing people. It is informing people about various, I mean, risk. They are various risks are very. I mean, one is a health education point of view, and also it will tell how close they were with the COVID positive patients, COVID positive patients. So it will not only educate people, and it will alarm people about the risks they have exposed to. So Arogya Setu is definitely related to COVID-19. C-Vigil is not related to the COVID. It is actually launched by Election Commission of India. It is an online, I mean, platform. It is a mobile-based thing. So it will enable people to report violations of Moral Code of Conduct, that is MCC. Next is Ayush Sanjeevani. Ayush Sanjeevani is launched by Department of Ayush, Ministry of Ayush. So it is what, so this is also an app actually. So it will intend to generate data on usage of this Ayush advocacies and measures among population and its impact on prevention of COVID-19. So by this data will help in to find out the usage of Ayush interventions and its efficacy and maintaining health by enhancing immunity. So how far this Ayush form of medicines will help in, I mean, in improving the immunity and also helping in educating the people. So that will be studied by this data generated through this app. So here 1 and 3 are related to this COVID-19, hence the answer is option. Let us look into the 72nd question. The question is asking about technical textiles. So what are these technical textiles? So the technical textiles is a textile product manufactured for non-aesthetic purposes where function is the primary criterion. So mainly it is for functioning. So function, based on the function, they are classified as technical textiles. Technical textiles are segregated into 12 major segments. So these segments are given in this pictograph. So agriculture related, cloth related, medical related, home related, mobile technology related. So pro tech, pack tech, packing, okay, all these things, geotech, sport tech, deco tech, build tech, into tech. So all these 12 categories, okay, comprise of this technical textiles. So the Ministry of Textiles is actually trying to promote these technical textiles. So there is actually very CAGR is very high in the case of this technical textiles. So world is actually in need of these technical textiles. So India should take this opportunity to boost the production of these technical textiles. Okay, among this, so in the given question, contact. So if you see this thing, uh, pack technology actually had got more weightage. So this part has got more weightage. Okay, so this area we should actually further develop in order to uh, create that export potential. Okay, sorry, this is about the general information regarding technical textiles. If you see the question aspect, the question has given like contact lenses, artificial medical implants, and surgical gowns. So these come under Meditex technical textiles. So Meditex, if you see this thing in the graph, this is medical tech. So medical textiles, medical technology, or medical technical textiles. So all these are part of technical textiles only. Okay, that is Meditech. Hence, answer is option. Now let us look into the question number 57. It is about integrated disease surveillance program. It's integrated disease surveillance program. So it is under actually Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Okay. So the first statement, let us see. It maintains disease surveillance system for epidemic prone diseases to monitor disease trends and to detect and respond to outbreaks in the early rising phase. This is correct. Actually, it is located in Delhi, so it will conduct frequent surveillance program. So to record any pandemics or any outbreaks of diseases, so that it will alert the entire country and give proper uh, mm, what you call suggestions or preventive measures. Okay, so it maintains disease surveillance system for epidemic prone diseases to monitor disease trends and to detect and respond to outbreaks in the early rising phase. That is correct. It has surveillance units at center, state, and district level. This is also correct actually. In this IDSP, it have links units at center, state, and district level through which it will collect the information, epidemiological information about the new outbreaks. Next is IDSP played a major role in community surveillance during recent COVID-19 breakout. This is also correct. Actually, it has given, it has alerted the people, it has even quarantined the people, it is recommended for quarantine, and also even the foreign returnees. So it has asked them to, to follow home quarantine and also that COVID screening and all those things. Okay. So the scheme aimed to strengthen the disease surveillance for infectious diseases to detect and respond to outbreaks immediately. The Central Surveillance Unit at the National Center for Disease Control receives disease outbreak reports from the states in union territories on a weekly basis. The even the nil weekly reporting is mandated, and compilation of disease outbreaks is done on weekly basis. So here all the given statements are correct regarding integrated disease surveillance program. Hence answer is option